Now, Chris, I just wanted to talk about one more topic. I've noticed this trend, especially around AI generated content. I've noticed that when AI becomes capable of doing something, that thing becomes devalued. And let me give you an example, right? Like when DALL-E 2 came out, the second generation of OpenAI's image generation product, and it produced really good quality illustrations. I started using them on my LinkedIn posts, right? And they were good illustrations, though, because I could engineer the prompt, they illustrated the exact thing I wanted. So in the past, what I would do is I would go on to royalty-free stock photography libraries and stuff and try to find something that kind of thematically matched my point. And those always went well. But now I could have the exact illustration I wanted. The thing with these AI-generated illustrations, although they're very good, you can still tell that they're generated by AI. And it only took me a couple of posts, Chris, before I started getting a bit of a backlash where people were like, enough with these AI-generated images. So people had this interesting visceral reaction to the image, not because it was inappropriate or anything like that, but simply because it was generated by AI. And then I noticed something else interesting, which is that after a little while, when I started seeing these illustrations in other people's posts, I started getting a similar reaction where I'm like, these AI generated images are just kind of a bit annoying and they're not value add somehow. It made me wonder how much of it is really the signaling value that a person has put an effort into it, nearly like that concept of proof of work in crypto, rather than the end result itself. Like if someone illustrates their own post or if someone takes a photo, there is human effort involved that somehow this feeling that when an AI generates it for you, it's all coming out of this sort of same goo. I think similar things are happening with the AI-generated writing where people can sort of tell there's a certain style that AI tends to have. It's not necessarily a bad style. It's usually better than what 90% of humans can produce. But that AI-generated style really gives people the shits and they hate it. And so I'm interested in your thoughts. This nearly the sort of human aspect that is sort of completely divorced from the technical progress of AI and even completely divorced from the more societal thing where people might be opposed to AI because of the effect it could have on society, but simply this sort of human visceral reaction that is sort of nearly rejecting the organ. Is that something that you've noticed?
Yeah, it's definitely something I've noticed. I think this is connected to the same phenomena of nobody wants to watch machines versus each other at chess. There's no computer AI chess tournament, right? They want to watch human beings play each other at chess, even though machines have destroyed humans at chess, right? They've completely beaten them. But we still watch people play chess. There's very few people wanting to watch robots battle each other or self-driving cars race each other, right? We want to watch things and see things where human labor has been applied and human risk is involved. Because it's almost like it's not about the act of playing chess. It's about the act of human endeavor and the act of almost human embarrassment and humiliation, right? It's about having ego on the line. It's about being able to have empathy and live vicariously through the people participating in playing. I mean, if we're very honest, you watch some F1 racing to see if there's going to be an accident, right? It's like to see the human ingenuity and talent and athleticism and to see if these things crash into each other and what happens, right? And so there's no human on the line. There's no human eye, intention, risk, ego to empathize with when you generate an AI image. Now, I think that starts to go away when it becomes harder and harder to detect the touch of AI in the mix. I think when an image looks truly distinct and truly human, and people you can't tell is generated by AI, well, you have no judgment to apply to it. You've got no idea. And so I do think that this is just a horizon we have to get over. Where I thought you were going with this was somewhere slightly different, where I thought you were saying is like, well, of course it can generate text. That's easy, but it can't do an image. Oh shit, well, of course it can do an image, but it can't do video. Oh shit, it does video. Oh, well, of course they're 5-second videos, but it can't do like long form videos. When you said initially that humans devalue it, what I thought you meant was like, of course that problem domain is addressable, but it'll never have, a soul, or it'll never be able to create a whole movie, or it'll never have intentionality. I just think these are just horizons that will be knocked over pretty quickly.
I think these things do kind of dovetail in an interesting way. There is this human aspect to a lot of content consumption, let's say, in the broad sense. In a sense, what LLMs are producing is content, if you want to think of it that way, that has this very human aspect that is not solvable by AI because it is to do with proof of work or to do with collective experience and things like that. And, you say, okay, right now, AI is only capable of producing shitty 5-second video clips. One day, you'll be able to give it a prompt and it'll generate an entire Pixar movie of the same quality just for you. Won't that be amazing? And let me make a prediction, Chris. It won't be that amazing because people like watching the same movies as other people. And they like to know that it was made by humans with this sort of level of thought, right? So, sure, will AI be used to help create animated films? Yeah, it probably already is, right? In the same way that, CGI, computer graphics, has completely overtaken hand drawn cartooning. But there'll always be this human element, that human story, the human narrative, the human effort that goes into something, and then the human collective experience that's going to be really important. And I just think it's going to be interesting for the future of where AI can really have an impact and where it can't, quite separate from what the technology is capable of.
Well, this is the counter narrative to the one we were talking about with the cratering of labor value, right? Which is, well, no, in certain scenarios, humans want to see other humans human. And so you can't automate human away. I think the most interesting part of what you just said there is this point about collective experience. I have another meta trend that I've wanted to talk about on the show for a while, and we haven't gotten into it yet, is about this question of unbundling, where things are being atomized into their individual parts and then being recompiled at runtime for maximum personalization. And this is a multi-year, multi-decade, multi-century phenomena powered by technology across all aspects of our lives and civilization, from music to movies to marriages to societies, you name it. And when you talk about like being able to generate a Pixar movie bespoke to you, that's an example of unbundling where you take all the constituent parts, you rip them out of Pixar's hands. Someone gets to say, I want a Pixar movie about this, 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 and this, and it constitutes those elements at runtime, entirely bespoke and personalized for you. But the point you're making is, well, I don't want to have a personalized experience in a vacuum. I want a shared communal experience. You have to realize, though, Yaniv, that we are having increasingly personalized experiences every day, and that's part of the fragmentation and polarization of the world because of the algorithm, the Facebook algorithm, and what have you. I'll give you an example. It's more subtle. Like, obviously, the Facebook algorithm, the Facebook page is unique to you, and you're living in a silo, but there are certain viral breakthroughs and whatever that everyone sees. But even this idea of like you would listen to an album, I feel this is a little bit for my time, or just kind of early in my childhood. But people used to listen to an album as a complete piece of work. They would like go through the album and the artist would craft it as like you start slow and then you build up high and then you get to the single and then you get to the tails off in this place. The album construction was part of the art. Nobody that listens to an album from start to finish now. We listen to the singles and we listen to remixes and we listen to things that the algorithm generated for us and we compile our playlist. And this is what I mean by unbundled and personalization at runtime. So that art has been gone. That collective experience of listening to Michael Jackson's latest, Thriller or whatever, that collective experience has been diminished and diluted away.
It's been diminished and diluted. It's not gone. And actually, it's good that you mentioned music. Like, AI generated music seems like the furthest ahead at the sort of basic level, matching what a human can do, right? I can't remember the names, but there are AI music startups and they produce songs that sound pretty fucking good. So, the question is going to be, are people going to stop listening to, Beyonce and whatever else because you can get Beyonce songs for the exact mood that you're in, or Taylor Swift songs for the exact mood that you're in, and tailor to your personality? That's going to be really interesting. Again, if I was a betting man, I reckon these startups are going to struggle, but I could very well be proven wrong.
Again, it depends. I think if you want a soundtrack to your life that's tailored to your actions and movements and whatever, you could have maybe some AI thing doing that. But I agree with you that people want cultural moments. They want cultural context. They want proof of work, as you called it. They want human intentionality, ego, and soul. That seems an intuitively correct thing. And actually, this is something Sam Altman has said as well, by the way. But a lot of what I just said is I've heard Sam echo this idea that people want to see other people create things, and that's not going away. I'm just also conscious that every time we say, that's uniquely human, or, AI won't be able to do that.
Well, again, I'm not saying AI won't be able to. I'm saying that humans might reject it for reasons that are entirely human.
Maybe the key point here, and we should finish up on this, is the question of the uncanny valley. So right now, I think we are in the trough of the uncanny valley where it looks so real, but not real enough. And there is not going to be a cultural moment around a DALL-E 2 image or around a AI-generated movie or song. But at some point, one human being is going to prompt an AI to generate a song, a movie, an album, a company, and it may be indistinguishable from collective human effort of the kind we used to do. And I think we will have crossed the chasm, crossed the uncanny valley, and I don't think people will be able to know the difference anyway.
Okay, so those are our thoughts and observations. What do you think? Do you like consuming AI generated content? Would you watch a Pixar movie generated just for you? Let us know in the comments and join the conversation.